Hi viewers, welcome back to your Odoo ERP tutorial and welcome at my channel Learn with Mohit. In this video we are talking about how can we record the deferred expenses and deferred revenue in Odoo ERP. And if you are someone who are confused like what is the deferred expense and what are the deferred revenues, let me explain it a little bit. The deferred expenses are that we give advance to someone, like we give rent advance for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 year. So we record this expense as a deferred expense because all the money given in advance are not consumed, but it will be consuming with the passage of time. And every month, suppose in the rent case, every month a specific amount will be expensed. In the deferred revenue, we take advance from someone and we promise them that we will be providing them a specific service in the future date, and then according to the achievement of the milestone, we a certain amount or all of the amount convert to sale accordingly, and then we consider the amount as revenue. In the initial stage, we consider the advance taken from someone as liability. So stay with me guys, let's start work because we have a lot of work to do. You are in the accounting module right here, and by clicking the accounting module, you can see that there is the deferred expenses module. We will create a deferred expenses module for our deferred expenses, and we are going to create this deferred expense module manually. So we will go to the chart of account, and there we will be creating one new chart of account to use it for this deferred expense module. So in the chart of account, create new account, give a code like 50001 and deferred expense. So the deferred expense is actually we have paid to someone some cash, and this is still a current asset for us. So the type is current asset. Select current asset and save it. While done with this, you see the deferred expense account is ready. Now we are going to use it. Let's go to the vendor and create one bill by using that deferred expense. Select vendor, select date. Since we don't have product, we are going to pay in advance rent, office rent paid in advance for first quarter. Select that deferred expense account, which is in fact our current asset account. Suppose we pay 300,000, the sales tax has been applied, and it is making total amount 351,000. Confirm this, and you see here is a shortcut given, and one transaction is still in draft. This is why we see this is in red color. We can click this to open this transaction, but let's make the payment. Suppose we have made this from payment. Now see the invoice of the vendor is now in the processing payment steps. Click this and you can open this journal, the setting of this deferred expense, and we can also open it from here, the deferred expense in the accounting menu from deferred expense. Here we can see this transaction. You click it and it is open. Now before you save it, some necessary settings are urgent here. You can see that the amount is mentioned here 300,000, and the duration is for 3 months. And we can also create module of a separate quarter. And the setting that we are doing right now, if we create module, then we will not be doing this setting time and again. Instead, we will be selecting module from here. Since we don't have any module right now, we are going to create it the way I am going to create it here. So the duration is selected and the months are selected, and the chart of account is deferred expense. The deferred expense will go to credit whenever the expense occurred. So this is a rent expense, and journal is selected. Deferred expense journal is we have already created one. And here pay attention that the no pro data means that accounting, the ERP Odoo will record this transaction in 2022, as we are saying that a first quarter. So if we say no pro data, Odoo will automatically charge this rent from January 2002 to March 2022. Since we are sitting right now in December 2022 and we are paying this rent in advance, so we definitely not want the no pro option, but instead we are going to select the exact date. So we will be given the date. For example, we are going to start it from 1st January 2023, and eventually this will be recording the future transaction on 30 January or 28 Feb and on 31 March. This is the case. You can see this, the expenses board. These are the future transaction which will be created. You see, until it's zero, the transaction will go in future to the accounts on a given date. So we have saved this. Now you can see that the transaction is now in complete stage. In the future, journals are visible from here. If we see the journal entry, we can see that deferred expenses are now credited and the rent account is now debit. The rent expense is debit and the deferred expense, which is in fact the current asset, which was initially the debit stage, now it is going to credit stage. So this is the way we can record our deferred expenses. And now, since that you are clear how to record your deferred expenses, let's go for the deferred revenue, how to record a deferred revenue. So the same way we will create another chart of account by giving code, and we will name this as a deferred revenue, and the type is current liability, because this the deferred revenue is in fact the advance that we have taken from some customer. So we treat it as a liability for ourselves because we haven't earned this money as yet, because we haven't supplied the services as yet. If something happened wrong, we might have returned this money. Then somehow, if because of any incident we don't provide the service, then we will be returning this money to the customer. This is why it is recorded in the current liability. So go to the setup of this account, and you can see here. Did you see this? Let me remind you that this deferred expense, deferred revenue is very similar to the asset module and asset management of the Odoo ERP. So if you haven't seen my video on the asset, go to the video and see my in the playlist, in the Odoo ERP playlist, find out the asset management of Odoo ERP. When you see that video first, and then this deferred expense and deferred revenue will get very easy for you. So here the asset automation means that if we select no, then the system Odoo ERP will be not automating this transaction. And if we select this create in draft, then Odoo ERP will record this transaction, but it will be in the draft stage. Someone will have to go to check this transaction, and it will be need to confirm it. It will be need confirmation. We will check it. And the closing date, maybe in the month end, when we finalize the closing report, then we will have a look at this transaction when it is in the draft. And the third is create and validate. If you are sure, if the business condition is good and you have paid the rent for 3 months, and you are sure that you are sitting for 3 months in the office, then you select this last option, create and validate. Otherwise, if things are doubtful and adjustment is most of the time taking place in this ledger, then you better select this create and draft, that you may see the transaction in the future, and if it need any correction, editing, you do it and then you confirm it. So this is the method of this deferred revenue automation, the deferred revenue automation. So you can see that we have selected almost all the necessary settings, and now when all the settings are completed, let's utilize that deferred revenue account, and let's create a new invoice. And we don't have any product, so we'll have to write a label is advance received against fish, the chart of account, the quantity 1, and the same 300,000 rupees. This sales tax is charged, and again the amount in the deferred revenue is 351,000. But this amount is going to the liability account, though we are creating invoice, but this invoice is not going to the revenue sale account directly, but we have lead this invoice to the deferred revenue account. And this is why we have given a long setting of automation on how we can then later give the treatment to this account. And for example, we have completed some stage of account in the first month, and then we will be convert a particular amount from this 351,000 to the income. Maybe 100,000 work is done, and then 251,000 this deferred revenue will remain balance. From there, this shortcut which we can see in the red, we can open this transaction and we can register a payment against this. Suppose we have received the money in the bank, and this invoice is also in payment. When the money received in the bank, then we will reconcile and we will validate this payment, and finally the invoice will go to the paid stage, but still the invoice is in payment stage. So we are going to open this journal entry by clicking this red shortcut. Here you can see we can also access that from this deferred revenue from the accounting menu, and this is the transaction. Double click it, it will open advance received against school fees first quarter. The same setting which almost we have done almost the same in the asset model. Give the duration of 3 months. This fees is for 3 months, and here is a no pro data. No pro data is auto selected. Select sales income is your revenue account in the deferred revenue, and we have not any journal this time. Let's create one on the fly. because it is compulsory to attach your journal with this automation. Without this journal, Odoo ERP will not be able to post this transaction in future. So this is how we can create a journal on the fly. Now, after the computation, the revenue board is visible now, and the system is telling us that how will we receive this income in the future date. You see, if you see the journal of this deferred revenue, so here the deferred revenue is going to debit and the sales income is going to credit. So it is, I think the concept is now clear, and we know how can we record all deferred expenses or deferred revenue. If we go to the journal, in the reports of journal, we can see the transaction or future transaction. We can still collect them, we can still modify them. And I hope the video is useful for you. If you find it useful, don't forget to share it with your friends. And if you are new to my channel and you have not subscribed my channel yet, you are encouraged to subscribe my channel. So with that, see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.